Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? Of course, my name is Kent, and the channel is EOS San Diego. And I want to talk a little bit tonight about the FUD market because we've been in quite a FUD market for quite some time. And of course, it's been dragging on a lot of people, including me. And you just, after a while, you get your mind so much into FUD that it's kind of really hard to be positive and see how much positivity there is going on and how much potential there is. So I want to talk a little bit about that tonight. I want to talk about really how unstoppable EOS is and how unstoppable it's going to be in the future. And I want to talk about something tonight. I want to actually talk about security tokens, the tokenization of securities, the tokenization of security, a security token versus utility token. But just to kind of illustrate how the market's kind of been in the FUD, it's actually kind of messed with my mind. I think it's messed with a lot of people's minds as far as the FUD is concerned. But I got a video here just to show you a little bit of kind of what it's done to me. It's messed with my mind, but here, I'll let you listen to this. This is kind of what it's done to me.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never.
There you go. Even my mama thinks my mind's been gone. So yeah, I've been laughing and blasting or whatever you said so long that I think I've lost my mind in this FUD market. But I want to get out of the FUD. I want to get onto the positive news, and I want to get onto the positivity that's going to bring EOS to the next level, which will bring EOS to the $100 level. That's what I'm going to start focusing on, not the FUD. So anyway, I got some really interesting stuff to bring out. I want to talk about this. Let's go back to something else here. Where's it at? I think I got to go back earlier than this. There we go. I want to talk about this. It's called the Tokenized, and it's actually about tokenized securities are finally coming to EOS Financial Securities Protocol. So there's a tokenized security. And just to show you, because sometimes I do this, I will look at these articles, get all excited, and realize they're a long time ago. But this one is actually January 6th, 2019. So that's today. So this is a brand new updated information. So I might be the first person to actually be covering this. But what we're talking about is tokenized securities. And this particular developer of the trading system, his name's Ed Silantiev, has just announced his new project, the Financial Security Protocol, the first of its kind on EOS. The purpose of driving the creation of a financial securities protocol is asset self-sovereignty by baking in compliance requirements into the asset itself, thus making tokenized securities possible on EOS. Okay, this is a really big deal. And the reason this is really a big deal is because it's moving assets to the blockchain. I've talked about this in the past. I talked about it with New York real estate. I've talked about putting real estate on the internet, about moving things to the blockchain, about tokenizing securities. This is something that's very, 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 very big. In fact, let's see how many billions or trillions or whatever they say down here. Some analysts can even predict that the security token, I'm reading from right here, that the security token offering sector could exceed 200 billion in market cap by 2019. The importance of security tokens cannot be overstated. Now that EOS has its first security token protocol in development, its blockchain can join the growing sector that aims to tokenize traditional assets, ownership, equity, debts, and many other financial instruments, currently a part of the broad category of securities. Okay, so let me show you something here. Let's connect some dots here. We're talking about securities, we're talking about assets, we're talking about the EOS blockchain. I want to show you a good friend. Actually, right there we are. This guy's name is Mike Novogratz. If you don't know who he is, I did a video with him up in San Francisco. Actually, this is taken from the San Francisco, this picture is taken from the San Francisco hackathon. And Mr. Novogratz, by the way, the only thing I think we have in common is our haircut. But Mr. Novogratz is a former hedge fund manager and Goldman Sachs partner. He's a Goldman Sachs partner. Now, if you don't know who Goldman Sachs is, just remember too big to fail. Back in the day of too big to fail. The whole financial crisis started with this. the reason Goldman Sachs was too big to fail is because Goldman Sachs was our financial system. The banks, like Goldman Sachs, a fiat currency, a fiat system that they couldn't let fail, because if it failed, they had nothing to replace it. There would have been complete financial collapse. There would have been chaos. There would have been anarchy. There would have been every possible thing could have happened. So they had to come in and prop up the banks. They had to bring them back, because if they didn't bring them back, we had nothing to take the place of the fiat currency system. We had nothing to take the place of Goldman Sachs and all the big banks. But today, we do. We have something to take its place. We have cryptocurrencies. We have the blockchain. And that's what I think is starting to take place. And that's why you see a person like Mr. Novogratz at the San Francisco Hackathon. I mean, it's not like this guy has a spare weekend to do whatever he wants. He was up in San Francisco for a reason. You know, it's not like he's trying to find things to do. And he's not only was he in San Francisco at the hackathon, he was actually participating. He was one of the judges of the applications that were being shown there. So boys and girls, pay attention here. You got one of the major bankers in the world, so former Goldman Sachs manager, up at the San Francisco Hackathon. He's involved with EOS. Now they're talking about tokenized securities going on the blockchain. So Mr. Novogratz is up there for a reason, because he sees the potential of this, and he sees where this is going. So pay attention. This is really big stuff, and you can start to see how this is coming together. So anyway, let's talk about tokenized securities. I mean, it goes on a little bit, talks about how they work. But the big difference between tokenized securities and a regular utility security, and you have to click on to the next link to find this out, or where is it? I think it's up here a little bit. Maybe it's down here. Get out of this. Okay, right here. You got to see. You got to click on this next link, and I'll put these links below so you can actually look at them too. But if you look at this, there's a difference. There's a security token, and then there's a utility token. EOS is a utility token. And the basic difference between a utility token and a security token is a utility token promises some sort of service. Like, let's hear at the most basic, I'll read right here. At the most basic level, tokens can be divided into two tokens, a utility token and a security token. Most people will be familiar with utility tokens than security tokens, even if they not often called utility tokens by name. A utility token is a coin backed by a project, and that is the type of investment most people are used to making. Utility tokens are Ethereum-based, as this is one of the simplest ways of making a new token and programming it so user is granted access to some utility. So you've got something that you're promising. You've got some sort of cloud-based utility, storage, whatever, that you are promising somebody. So what you're doing is you're promising some service or something you're giving, something you're giving somebody. That's a utility. You're giving them a utility. A security, on the other hand, is more of something where you're just granting somebody an interest. A security token, let me read it. A security token, on the other hand, need not have a utility rather than conferring a tangible benefit onto the investor. So you're giving them a tangible benefit. So if I give you a piece of my house, I'm giving you a security interest in my house. We're not going through the utility. I'm not saying, you know, I'm creating some sort of program or something like that, and through the program, we are distributing pieces of my house. I'm actually conferring this title to you upon no other thing. I'm just giving it to you without going through some other layer of granting you it through utility. Now, the big difference here, and they go on a little bit further, and you got to follow me here, is the difference is because utility tokens are associated with people raising money. So that's an ICO, and that comes into the Howey test. And a lot of people in blockchain know all about the Howey test. It's a 1940 some, what is it, 1946 case, U.S. Supreme Court case, and it determines if something's a security or not. And it's a very broadly interpreted way of deciding if something is security. Now, I'll read what the bottom line decision is. And right here it is, the decision. If that a test be satisfied, it is immaterial whether the enterprise is speculative or non-speculative, or whether there was a sale of property with or without intrinsic value. So basically what they're saying is if you raise money, it's a security. And that's not only in the United States, it comes under that's a broad regulatory thing that covers a lot of different countries and whatever, that if you're taking people's money, you're going to be regulated. So if I'm going out and asking people for $10,000, I'm going to fall under a lot of regulation, and for good reason, because there's a lot of people out there stealing money. So people don't like it. Governments don't like it. Countries don't like it. People don't like it. And having a license to sell securities, as I hadn't previously as being a stockbroker, I could tell you where the problem starts. The problem starts when people become unhappy. If somebody becomes unhappy, the first thing they try to do is they try to find some regulatory governmental agency to go after you. If they lose money and they're upset, they're not going to say, well, I made a bad decision. They're going to find somebody to blame. And of course, they're going to go running to the Security Exchange Commission or running to the local government. They're going to say, so-and-so stole my money. I gave him $10,000 and I didn't get anything in return for it. You have now come under a whole umbrella of rules and regulations that is a big burden, a huge burden for anybody raising money. So whenever I hear somebody saying we're going out to raise money, we're going to go out and raise money, I always cringe just a little bit, because I know that you're going to fall under these security test rules, and you're going to be a security. So always raising money has always gotten to be a problem, which is the way up to now everything's being done. It's, we got to go raise money, and then we're going to put this on the blockchain. We're going to put that on the blockchain. Well, what this protocol is talking about now is just going directly to the blockchain with this asset, just taking it directly to the blockchain and not going through the utility of having people raise some sort of money to put something together to be able to separate some sort of asset out. It's just going directly to the blockchain. And there's a lot of things that how this is going to benefit people by going directly to the blockchain. Let me see if I can find all this stuff. First of all, go down here a little bit more. Right here. It's gonna first of all, 7 ways a security token can change the market. First of all, it's going to unlock liquidity. So being able to put things on the blockchain instantaneously will do away with this traditional way of settlement time. So if you sell a security, there's a settlement date. So you sell it on a Friday, it may not settle till Tuesday or Wednesday, because it's got to take time for that all to take place, all the background stuff to take place. This will be eliminated with blockchain. You'll have transfer times instantaneously. So there'll be no long-term delays. They talk about that, about trading days plus 5 days. I remember that. It changes to be more days, less days, depending on what time it is. But it's a big pain in the neck. The other thing it's going to do, it's going to open up capital to global markets. So now you can have an asset that can be traded from one country to another country. And I'll read this. Depending on how the token is set up, it may be eligible for trading in global markets. For example, an investor in Germany could easily buy equity in a cafe in Florida with a few clicks of a mouse. So right now, I don't know. I think that being a U.S. citizen, I don't even know if you can buy land in Mexico. You may not be able to. I remember you couldn't buy land in Mexico as a U.S. citizen. You had to be a citizen of Mexico. Now, this would be something that maybe it would get away with it. You could do this now, not get away with it, but you would be able to do this on the blockchain. You wouldn't have to worry about governments intervening with their regulations and rules and all the bureaucracy involved with that. You should be able to just buy something in Mexico or buy something in Hong Kong or buy something in Taiwan or wherever instantaneously on the blockchain, if you could be able to have that asset be tokenized, translated to the blockchain. The third thing is you got 24/7 trading. Markets are only open for certain periods of time. The only reason markets are open during periods of time is because it requires a lot of personalized effort to keep that market open. So people have to be there, things have to clear, things have to do, and so on and so forth, all this other activity. And it can't open to, even though markets, some are 24 hours, a lot of markets aren't. So this would increase not only liquidity, but increase the periods of time that things can trade, literally unlimited time, which would make things more liquid if they're traded more, being able to trade more often. The next thing is the asset interoperability. In a future where just anything can be tokenized, that opens up the door for any asset to be traded. So literally anything can be put on the blockchain. You could put debt, you could put stocks, you could put derivatives. Anything literally can be put on the blockchain. And especially, like it says, the ability of a computer system or software to exchange and make this information, or be able to put this information together and make it all work digitally. Huge benefit to do that. Huge benefit to do that. So, you know, just an incredible amount of benefits to do this. This is coming to the EOS blockchain. And I say this all the time, and this is why I probably need to be more optimistic and not never think about not being optimistic, is because the longer EOS operates, the more these ideas start to grow on EOS, the more ideas like this are worked on and are introduced, and great minds start thinking about it and how to do this, it will happen. And it literally becomes an unstoppable blockchain. It becomes an unstoppable idea. It becomes an unstoppable force on the internet. And that's why I'm calling this video tonight the Unstoppable EOS, because it's just going to be unstoppable here, especially with ideas like this. Automated compliance. Obviously, you get compliance automated. Programmable assets and securities. Everything virtually on the internet. Assets are programmable. They're digitized. They're made so that you can trade them easily. And you can make things liquid. So much of the stuff is not liquid. Fractional ownership, great. I mean, obviously, I could take my house and divide it up into 100 different pieces instead of, you know, right now, if you want to go get a mortgage on a home, I think you probably have a month, maybe 2 months, probably by the time you actually receive money in hand from a mortgage that you get, a couple of months. And you'd be lucky if you even got the mortgage. And the bank probably would be scared to give you the mortgage because they're scared to hold paper. They're scared to hold assets because, you know, they get too many that go bad. Then they start to become problems, and they have regulatory problems because most of their money is given to them from government loans. So that's another huge problem. And security tokens are here to stay. Obviously, security tokens are here to stay. This is a big thing coming in the very, very near future. And I believe this will change everything. I mean, just like we said, I've heard this before. It just will change everything. And here we are. We're at a really bad market. Let me see where we're at right today. Yeah, here we are. We're actually pretty good today. EOS is up 6%, and it's actually pushing $3. But, you know, it's been up to $22, $21, $22. So we're way down in the bottom. There's a lot of great stuff going on. A lot of people talking a lot of FUD. So, hey, we got a good opportunity here, and I think we need to be positive about it. We need to see the things that are taking off and growing, because this is an idea, you know, it's been around for a while. But to actually see it come up and show up on the blockchain now, and to show up on EOS is incredible. Because, and let's see why it's showing up on EOS. The purpose driving the creation of the self is, I think they talked about the reason. Oh, right here. The financial system protocol aims to be blueprint for financial lightning fast trading efficiency, along with current large cashless economy associated. But the reason I think they're using EOS, and I think I read this here, should have read it a little closer, but the reason they're using EOS is because EOS can scale. It's the scalability of EOS is the reason why EOS is the reason that they are choosing this system, this protocol, or this blockchain to run this protocol, is because of the speed of the EOS blockchain. So that's why I've always been very 100% sold on EOS, because it can match the speed. It can scale to these kinds of projects. It can scale to, and that's what we want. We want to have a scalable blockchain that can do anything. So anyway, great article. I'll put the stuff below so you can also take a look at it. Watch the video with me and Novogratz. It was pretty good. Novogratz a really nice guy. Like I say, the only thing we have in common is haircuts. Although he was a wrestler, He wrestled, I believe, someplace. He was a wrestler, as was my son. I'll show you his picture real quick. There's Chase. Chase was a wrestler at Arizona State. There he was at the Pac-12s. This is Coach Zeke Jones. He was the Olympic coach for the EOS until he moved on to Arizona State. There's my other son, was a heavyweight wrestler at Arizona State University. So we do have haircuts and wrestling as our background, but we certainly don't share bank accounts. I wish I did. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.